Hello, today we're going to learn about compare and contrast. We're going to complete a Venn diagram and write a compare and contrast paragraph. First, let's start with talking about what compare is. Compare shows how things are the same or similar. So we have a basketball and we have donuts. Let's compare the two. Look for things that are similar. Well, they are both round and they are both orange. That is what they have in common. So we just compared the two. Pretty simple. Next, let's talk about contrast. Contrast means you're looking for differences or you're showing the differences. So again, let's contrast the basketball and the donuts. Well, the basketball has lines on it, whereas the donut has sprinkles. So when we contrast, we are looking for what they don't have in common or what their differences are. We use a Venn diagram to show how things are similar and different, or to compare and contrast. So in the middle, you would compare and write down what they have in common. And on the outsides, you would write what they don't have in common, or you would contrast. This is an example of a Venn diagram showing our basketball and our donut. Let's start with comparing. Again, they are both orange and round. When we contrast them, we write down what they have not in common on their side. So the basketball has black lines and it bounces. The donut has sprinkles and edible, which means you can eat it. I would not recommend eating a basketball though. Our next step is to write a paragraph using our information from our Venn diagram. So I go back and look at my Venn diagram, and then I would type my paragraph using that information. Donuts and basketballs have things in common and things that are different. Notice how I have a topic sentence here telling you that I'm going to talk about donuts and basketball, what they have in common, and what they what are different from each other. Donuts are edible and have sprinkles, but basketballs cannot be eaten and do not have sprinkles. However, basketballs do bounce and have black lines. They are both orange and round though. This is my paragraph comparing and contrasting donuts to basketballs. I could, if I wanted to, break this up into two paragraphs and have one paragraph just comparing and one paragraph just contrasting. Since I had very little information for comparing and contrasting, I thought it was okay to write one paragraph using both. But if I was using a longer story or comparing and contrasting bigger things, I might want to split these into two paragraphs. Let's read about Bigfoot and Mr. Swanson, and then you are going to make a Venn diagram comparing and contrasting the two, and finally writing a paragraph. Mr. Swanson is 5'11" and 210 pounds. Bigfoot is 7'5" and 800 pounds. Mr. Swanson has brown eyes and Bigfoot has green eyes. Mr. Swanson has a family, likes to play hockey, canoe, and eat fish. Bigfoot lives in the woods around the world, eats fish and berries, and doesn't like cameras. Mr. Swanson walks on 2 feet except when he is looking for his daughter's socks under the couch. Bigfoot crouches behind trees when people look for him, but spends most of his time walking on 2 feet. Mr. Swanson has a black coat he wears in the winter, along with a pair of boots. Bigfoot is hairy and often brown, black, or even red, not to be confused with his white-haired cousin the Yeti. Bigfoot has been spotted in the woods. Mr. Swanson has also been seen in the woods. So now I would like you to create your own Venn diagram in your binder, making it look like this, and then you're going to compare and contrast Mr. Swanson to Bigfoot. So I might write Mr. Swanson up here, Bigfoot up here, write down what they have similar or the same by comparing them in the middle, and then writing down what they do not have in common or contrast the two on the outsides of the circle. When you are done with that, you are going to write a paragraph, and you may choose to write 1 or 2 paragraphs comparing and contrasting Bigfoot to Mr. Swanson. You may choose to write that in your binder, or you may type it. Once you are done with this, I would like you to check it with a friend, see what they think of your paragraph. Does it really compare and contrast? And then when you're done, check it with Mr. Swanson or Mrs. Schiffsky. When you are done, you may move on to work on the homework, which will be due later this week.